Let's call today's board of trustee meeting to order at 4:01 p.m. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
Bilkowski,
Present.
McNamee, Ochaya,
Present.
Pismo,
Present.
Sheets,
Here.
Stanger, here, Swanson, Civil,
Here.
Dr. Blakeman.
Here. Okay, thank you, everyone. If you could please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Zibble, would you be able to read the mission statement today? Oh, sorry about that. Mr. Kim, would you be able to?
Laketran is committed to providing quality public transportation services to all Lake County residents, with special emphasis on meeting the transportation needs of seniors and people with disabilities.
Thank you so much. Are there any public comments in the room today? Seeing none? At this time, is there a motion to approve the Laketran Board of Trustees board meeting minutes of June 24th, 2024?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Zibble, is there a second? Second. Seconded by Dr. Blakeman. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee, Ochaya,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets,
Yes.
Stanger,
Abstain.
Civil,
Yes.
Dr. Blakeman.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. At this time, is there a motion to enter into executive session to consider the employment, promotion, or compensation of a public employee or official pursuant to section 121.22 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Stanger, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Peachwell. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee, Ochaya,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets,
Yes.
Stanger,
Yes.
Civil,
Yes.
Dr. Blakeman.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. At 4:04 p.m., the board will be going into executive session, and we will invite our legal counsel, Mr. Dines, to stay in the executive. Okay, we have returned to regular session at 5:30 p.m. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to Matt for a financial presentation.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. So this is the June 2024 year-to-date operating summary. So the highlights, 2024 actual year-to-date revenue exceeded the budget by $928K. Additionally, the expenses were favorable to budget by $983K. So operating income favorable by $1.9 million. I'm going to break that down. Next slide. So 4 things contributing to the revenue overage. First being developmentally disabled IO waivers, $110K favorable based on volume and rates. Interest income, almost $200K favorable. We've taken advantage of some savings and investment rate opportunities. State elderly and disabled, $342K favorable. We capped out the volume and the budget is spread over the remainder of the year, so we're going to run favorable to that all year. The last one was preventive maintenance, based on volume, the reimbursement program, $390K favorable. The expense side is all attributed to labor benefits and fuel. So bottom line is almost $2 million favorable to the budget compared to last year. 1.2 million excessive to last year on the labor and fringe, 360K in insurance. So all the expense over, not overage, but addition to last year's labor and fringe. Okay, cash balance, Laketran, 60 million, very healthy. 22 million of that is committed. Another 7.3 million of that is committed to the capital plan projects through 2028. So we have 30 million of undesignated cash. Bear in mind, our sales tax reduction went into effect on July 1. We will feel the results of that next month in September. There's always a 2-month lag, so over the next year, 1 million per month less than we were typically getting. Is that money? STS, lower overall fair volume year to date versus the budget. Expenses are reciprocal to volume, so net loss year to date is on target to the expectation. Looking at the detail, one thing to keep in mind, our Browns STS Sports Express is on the horizon, so we're going to see more volume that kicks off in September. Should positively impact volume and net income. But overall, STS pretty small volume. Looking at Jog Transit. Jog is 196K below budget on the revenue, 138K favorable to the budgeted expenses, leaving a net net loss year to date of 58K. However, keep in mind, Jog has not yet received the revenue for the FTA grant for underserved funds through Malacca, so that's another 200K. I believe that will happen in August or September. Additionally, the reimbursement for the operating expenses through ODOT is quarterly. That always runs a couple of months behind as well. So some larger influxes of revenue, which will put them on the positive side. Did it remain, unless anybody has any questions?
Any questions or comments for Matt? At this time, is there a motion to approve the June 2024 Laketran, STS, and Geography Transit operating financial statements, subject to audit and capital plan review? Motion made by Ms. McNamee. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Stanger. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets,
Yes.
Stanger,
Yes.
Zibble,
Yes.
and Dr. Cleaver.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Looks like we're going to move on to Geography Transit matter at the moment.
Yes. Good afternoon, evening, not sure what time it is. We're looking for a motion to approve for Superior Energy for our program. We participated in a joint application with ODOT around these 2023 for low emissions and no emissions. We've approved the propane buses, but now we need the infrastructure to actually put the fuel in. So it went out with CT Consultants, it went out to bid, they came back in with Superior Consultants, was the only one that bid and came in the budget, so this project had been redesigned and rebid after the first round of bids, so that, because it was exceeding budget first round. The project will install the above ground propane tanks, fuel tank, and upgrade the electrical support of the propane and the fuel pump and the safety tanks. It went out to bid on July 17th, pretty good meeting on July 25th. And bids were due on the 7th, and there was a single bidder for Superior for $284,570. This bid was within the 20% range of the engineer's estimate. Their training had a following grant funds to support the project. The low no infrastructure project of $250,000. Underserved area funds of $34,000. So the total grant funds was $284,570 for the project. Any questions on the project?
One clarification, did they change the final revised code to 20%? On the corporation?
Yeah.
What was the engineer's estimate?
250. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution 2024-020, authorizing the CEO or his designee to enter into and execute a contract with Superior Energy Systems for the construction of propane fueling infrastructure at Laketran at a cost not to exceed $284,570.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Zibble. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Bushaya. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
Maxine.
Yes.
Oshaya,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
Steiner.
Yes.
Zibble,
Yes.
Dr. Lakeman.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. I will now turn the meeting over to Ben to talk about some electrical system work with generator.
So this is a follow-up to the discussion we had last month about the failure we experienced in part of our emergency power and main power distribution system. So we've gone through our RFP process, and at the end of that process, we are recommending selection of BL Chapman to complete that repair work. Real quick overview, so when we talk about a generator, there's actually quite a few parts to it, so I wanted to make sure everyone's really kind of clear on what we were talking about. So this is a picture of our emergency generator. You can get a feel for how big it is by that main door in the back room. This is a pretty large piece of equipment. On the right side, you have a diesel engine. On the left side, you have an actual electric generator. We service the diesel engine ourselves. We're qualified to do that. The electric generator piece, we have serviced by Buckeye Power. Both of these two components are working fine and are in good shape. They are 30 years old, but they are pre-electronics. The engine is much simpler, so this is a setup we would like to keep as long as we can because it is very simple. Parts that have failed are these two pieces, which is the automatic transfer switch and to some extent the main switch gear. So you can see on that left picture, it's a very sophisticated piece of cardboard blocking the hole. And so when we talk about parts, if I say generator in this process, I mean these two things. The actual engine and electrical component are in fine working order. So these two pieces are 30 years old, they're the same age as the building. They are, you know, potentially beyond their useful life, but they have been working fine up until earlier this year. We did consider adding them into the construction project in the planning phase, but we chose not to because they had not experienced any failures. They've been working fine. We were servicing the engine and testing them on a weekly basis, and they have been performing exactly like they should. Also, if it was in the project, it would be subject to a 10% contractor markup. After they experienced 3 repetitive failures this year, we said, okay, hang on, time out. What do we do? So we hired tech engineering. Tim Poole from tech is here today in case anyone has any questions for him. We hired them and said, hey, this is the system. We're bus people. We're not generator people. What should we do? He said, well, first, this is how you should evaluate the generator piece, the engine and the electrical components. We hired Buckeye Power. They tested everything. It came back all fine. They did not recommend replacing it. I won't take the words out of Tim's mouth, but he said, you know, this piece, as far as the transfer switch and the electrical pin are concerned, they were not high quality components when they were installed. And he reinforced the fact that spare parts really aren't available. I think they bought something off of eBay to fix it last time. And so with some discussion from Tim, we said, okay, what's the best course of action here? The recommendation that he came up with and that we all agree with is that we should leave the generator, the diesel engine and the electrical generator in place. They're fine, don't touch them. But the transfer switch and the main power distribution really need to be replaced. So we asked Tech to design the process for that. Obviously, keeping power onto the building during this process is important and probably the most complex part of the process because all that equipment has to stay in place and working while it is replaced. So it's a pretty complicated process just to choreograph all of that. So we had quite a number of meetings with Tim, walking over different ideas and possibilities and how this would best be accomplished. They did a complete design process for us and participated in the procurement process with us, where Tim sat at the table with us to interview the vendors and make sure they were qualified to do this work. We had 2 bidders or 2 proposers. One was Herbst Electric, the other one was VL Chapman. We worked with Laketran for years, we very high confidence level with them, but they, you know, they don't just phone it in because we work with them, they put their best foot forward every time, and they actually came to us with some suggestions to the project that may, well, that we think will actually reduce the cost a little bit, so. It's not like we just hired them because we like them, they had a great presentation and really put thought into the process. On top of the fact that they are $60,000 cheaper than their competitor. And so, going through this process, we think the best option is to hire real captain to complete the work with our traditional 10% contingency for unforeseen circumstances. We have identified some grant funds for the process, if we'd like to use them. And so, with that, you know, I asked him to be here to ask if the board had any questions. But that is kind of a high level overview. If you'd like any additional details, I would be happy to provide them.
And seems to me that these things are 30 years old, that was missed by the architect, should have been replaced. I think we had errors in omission of lawsuit here to go after this money. I don't see any reason we shouldn't. That was a total miss, particularly since you just educated us on how old these parts are and how hard they are to replace. So what is Laketran going to do to get $481,000 out of a company that missed this? They have errors in omission insurance, I'm sure. We have plans to do that.
Does it have an issue if we decided not to do it?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Lane. I'm not sure this would fall into that category. We really didn't include it in the project, as part of the project. So I don't think it's that they missed it, it's just that it was not part of the scope.
What was the scope then if it wasn't taking a look at the entire process? I mean, my heavens, this is almost $500,000 on something that obviously should have been replaced during the construction. My heavens,
Well,
I don't understand.
I would keep in mind that the design process did happen 4 years ago, and the system was working without flaw 4 years ago. And so, kind of like, you know, the example I know I talked.
We don't really discuss it anymore. Something that's obvious to me and not to you. Thank you.
Can I ask the question anyway?
Sure.
Let's say it happened in the school, it would have been 10% more.
Yes, just like we pulled the high-speed doors out of the project, this is something that, due to the specialty nature of it, you know, it does save us $48,000 to do this.
So what would the cost of it?
I would add 10% to this, so it would be $530,000.
Worst case.
But this is not to cover the entire generator, this is just the pieces that aren't working.
Correct. The other piece, should it fail in the future, is probably another $500,000. Now, that's a little different because, you know, the engine can be rebuilt and there's variability in failure there. Yeah, I mean, it could have a catastrophic failure tomorrow.
And I get that, but that's not the
Okay, any other questions, comments, or discussion?
So the generator, it only powers, so creates power for the building, right? It doesn't like recharge electric buses.
Correct, it is an emergency generator only, so when we lose street power, it backs up the entire facility. And it does
100%?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, when it was originally installed, it was installed much larger than it was originally, envisioned to be. I'm not exactly sure. In 2006, actually, Technique helped us switch it from powering only certain circuits to the whole building, and it has powered the whole building since 2006. And with how efficient, especially light fixtures have become, the load on the entire building has gone down over time to the point that that generator can still power the expanded building.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, is there a motion to approve resolution 2024-021, authorizing the CEO or his designee to enter into and execute a contract with DL Chapman Electric for the upgrade of the emergency power electrical system at Laketran headquarters at a cost not to exceed $481,125. Motion made by Ms. McNamee, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pino. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee,
Yes.
Ochaya,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets,
Absolutely not.
Stanger,
Yes.
Zibble,
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. At this time, is there a motion to approve a resolution providing for a 7% compensation increase to the Laketran CEO? Motion made by Ms. Stanger, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Ochaya. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee,
Yes.
Ochaya,
Yes.
Pismo,
Yes.
Sheets,
No.
Stanger,
Yes.
Zibble,
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. Okay, at this time, we will go into 6-month look ahead. I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Capel. We'll combine it with the also abbreviated CEO report.
I will also say thank you. I'll go quickly. In the look ahead, we have, bus inspection contractor. This is required for our Valoride bus order we placed in May. This is purely about when you place a certain number of vehicle order, you have to have an inspector, so it's required by the FDA. There are companies that do this, and we'll probably hire First Transit, which is who's done it for us in the past. Our budget estimate is $27,000. Dispatch radios, these are replacement radios for our dispatch office. And this is really again due to the sunsetting of Motorola radio equipment in 2025. We wanted to wait until we had moved into the new office before we did any changes to the radios. But the ones we have will basically no longer work in 2025, so we have to buy new ones. They are on state term contracts, so it's a pretty easy process of us saying that's the one we need and it costs this much. So it should be a pretty easy process. We have planned, the construction did plan on radio installation. And so the office is built for the radios to install, so it does reduce the installation cost compared to what we did last time. We also have a disadvantaged business plan or DBE plan, which is required by the Federal Transit Administration. This is just a part of making sure we have a plan in place to do business with what the feds qualify as disadvantaged business enterprise. Because this is a plan, you should expect to get it from us a couple weeks before the board meeting versus just in the packet, so we'll start technical email on that one. In October, we have the upgraded gasoline tank. We talked about this one pretty extensively, but we are in the procurement process right now, and our estimated budget is right around $400,000. We have our IT annual support contract. There are some significant changes with how we want to manage this company in the future with the changes in IT. So in the past, they had sort of a set rate for monthly support. We are getting rid of that and instead of buying a chunk of hours that we use as we need them. So it allows us to better manage them for projects that we may need them for. The other item in October, or this is state grant authority. This is a routine item where we ask the board to let us apply for grants. Last thing in October is the purchase of 2 utility vehicles, which we have grant funds for. These are just sort of run-of-the-mill utility vehicles used for all kinds of different things like driver relief, kind of whatever they need to be used for. In November, you'll be presented with the budget. We usually try to keep that meeting kind of light so we can really just take in the budget. This will be, again, we kind of have a weird schedule with the Transit where their budget is going to move to a state fiscal year versus our calendar fiscal year. So there will be sort of a half-year budget included in there for GR Transit. Other than that, you'll see a typical Laketran budget. We also have fuel contracts. Again, this is an annual process where we work with other transit agencies to buy fuel as a group. That number has gone down, obviously, since the implementation of electric buses. December, we have the budget approval. In January, we have our HVAC maintenance contract. This is where they just come do preventive maintenance on our HVAC systems at headquarters and our 2 training centers. In February, we have architectural engineering design from Mount Project Ride. This is mainly to repave it and repair the concrete. The parking lot is in a condition that's something we're gonna have to do something. We are cognizant about, commuter express ridership, and so the reason we have this in February is that it's still pretty far away, so we have a little bit of time to talk about how we're gonna handle commuter. But if, as long as we wanna own the parking lot, we need to keep it safe and accessible for the customers. We've done some sort of emergency concrete repairs where we've jacked up pieces of concrete that sank. But really, we had CT consultants look at it and said, you really need to replace this. It's kind of beyond the day phase. Sure.
You have the soil problem, too, when it was first built.
I was told that, and that is why we think we've lost, the concrete has sort of sunk pretty significantly in a couple spots.
So there was a lot of soil conditioning had to be done at that time.
Yeah, especially where the concrete, where the bus turns to stop at the stop, there were some jumps in the concrete that were over 8 inches. And so we kind of done all we can at this point.
I was expected again.
Any other questions about what you'll see in the next 6 months?
Yeah, so can you go back to September? I
Sure.
have like 2 questions. For the Motorola, for the sunsetting of the radio, I think I'm missing the stuff. Are they sunsetting all of their radio equipment in 2025?
No, not all of it. Motorola essentially has a process where every 10 years, they stop supporting things, and then another 10 years from that, they basically shut it down. And so the radio equipment we have now, that sort of shutdown phase. So, no, we try to keep up with it, as best we can. One of the things that when we replaced the radios in the vehicles last time, I'm hoping that will be the last time we really have to do a major radio purchase for the buses. Tony has already been testing, voice communication through the tablet. So the tablets all have, wireless signals to them now. So our plan is, we're already paying for cell service to the tablet.
Right.
Let's see if we can hook the voice onto it, because the Motorola radio is a very expensive piece of equipment. And so we still need it in the dispatch office. I'm not sure we'll be able to get rid of it in dispatch, because it does have connotation to the, it does connect county in a special way with the radio, so we still need it in dispatch, but I do think it'll slowly be phased out over time, but, it's not necessarily every, it's a long range trial, it's not necessarily every radio, but it's certain radios.
Got it. I interpreted it differently, so I appreciate the clarification. And then the second question was, didn't we, this is a general question, didn't we plan on having another strategic planning retreat, and wouldn't that be coming somewhere in here?
Yeah, I've been talking with Brian about that, and I think, and I don't want to take words out of Brian's mouth, I think we are still planning on doing one, but maybe in the beginning, quarter Q1, Q2 of 2025.
Oh,
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, I think that's completely appropriate.
We'll go back to the radios for just a second.
Sure.
And if you made any progress in coming up with a way that the drivers can communicate with dispatch if they're out of the bus?
If they're out of the bus, not a good one. But short of giving them a handheld radio, which are $5,000 a piece, so I don't think we wanna really go down that expense road, but, we're working on it, but we don't have a good solution as of right now.
One of the things we talked about was the type of communication that they use in hospitals, the nurses use to talk to each other or to the surgeon station.
We're still working on it, we haven't found anything
I
yet.
think it's really important that the drivers have some ability to communicate with their hospital.
Yeah, it's a challenge, because they have to remember to take it, and it has some complexity to it, but we are looking to see what options it is.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions about the 6 month?
What?
The 6 month, okay?
I have a general question. We approved the Ohio checkbook here a few months ago. And Matt tells me we don't have payroll on there. That's our largest expense. I think, why don't we have payroll on the Ohio checkbook? All the other institutions that are publicly funded school systems, et cetera. All have payroll and I think that's part of what your high checkbook should be.
Let's move that discussion to the old business section, so as soon as we get into old business, I'd ask Mr. Capelli to respond to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Senior report, I'll go through briefly. We have successfully moved our dispatch office into its new space, which is very exciting. The driver's room is temporarily in the parts storage area. Maintenance also moved into their temporary offices in the maintenance area, so we have a lot of moves in July, which are pretty exciting milestones. They have demolished a lot of stuff in the current driver's room, and in general, the project is still on target for completion at the end of this year. If anyone would like a construction tour, I'd be happy to take one day at a time. The IT strategic plan, UKG recently restructured their company and laid off a number of employees. And UKG is what we're working on for our HRIS system. We were assigned a new project manager, which has delayed the project, but the new project manager is much more familiar with the complex nature of our timekeeping system, so it actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The only downside is the project is a little bit delayed, but with that person being more familiar with organizations like us, it actually should result in a better product. We hired our IT project manager who started on the 19th. He was formerly the IT director of a manufacturing company called Plasmac Corporation. The IT support desk technician, this is the last date, we are back on the market for looking for those. For other employee hiring processes, we held 2 hiring events in August to get additional drivers to Laketran and Geauga. We are finally starting to catch up and be more appropriately staffed for Bow Ride and the upcoming same day Bow Ride services. We filled the fixed job manager position internally, and he is in the process of getting up to speed with his duties. I also mentioned this before, but Keith Fair, the director of maintenance, has announced his retirement. I have selected the person, so this is again a little bit outdated, but it's great. Same day Bow Ride, we have the beginning of the project was a little bumpy with the Notice software. Matt did a great job sort of wrangling trapeze, and he's got some of their top folks working right now. The project is sort of back on schedule, but in the beginning they had some kind of junior associates with it that again didn't understand the complexity of our organization. So after quite a few phone calls, he has gotten some of the more senior folks, and everything's run smoothly again. SCS service, the second SCS bus server suffered a major failure, leaving us really only 2 in active service. We will be able to repair it, but it is going to take some time. Luckily, Akron Metro generously offered to give us 2 of their 2009 MCIs free of charge. So we will have those as sort of a stopgap while we deal with the fact we are short buses. And they're giving them to us for free, so really the only expense is to wrap them, which is nice. They're a 45-foot long bus, ours is only 40 feet long, so they do carry more passengers per driver. So assuming Sports Express service is successful, these would be better buses to use for anyway, because you can carry more people per employee, so your revenue is higher. And then the grant chapter has been updated. There's only one change from June, and we were notified we did not get awarded a grant, which is the one in gray. So that is my report. I'll turn it over to Matt to give you a quick overview of ridership.
Thank you, Matt. All right, so we're going to be looking at June 2024 today. So June 2024 had 2 less operating days than June 2023. So that's why we see a little bit of a weird decrease in dial ride ridership there. We had equal operating days, dial ride would be up 2%. Fixed routes, or local routes, my apologies, would be up 16%. And park and ride would be up 22%. So over the summer, we usually see decreases in ridership just because of it being summer. So we also kind of see that reflected in the extended service hours here. This is the AM and PM dial ride. So the morning and the evening extended hours. And again, we see the decrease in the summer months, and then we see a increase historically, you know, around August, September, then it starts picking back up again. And denials are staying low, and I'm working very hard to get them to, you know, stay at double digits, if not zero. So that's what we're doing. Any questions?
Any questions for Ben on the CEO report or the operations report for Matt? Okay, we are going to move into old business and we'll turn it over to Ben briefly.
I would actually look at Matt, Park to give you a little hand. Are wages not in the checkbook?
Sorry, but
Are the Lane was asking if why employee wages weren't in the checkbook? I thought we had everything in there. Are they not in there?
No, payroll is not included in the audit checkbook.
So we filled out everything they recommended. Can we add wages or is that?
You know, I assume we can. I have to look into that. I didn't, realize that was a thing until Wayne mentioned it to me today, so. Happy to, look at that.
Yeah, we didn't exclude it intentionally. We basically filled out the forms of paperwork they gave us and moved forward with it. So I'm sure we can get wages added to it without, as long as they let us add, I don't see why we can't add.
So what is typically out there? Is it individual copies of paychecks or is it just summaries of payroll? Do you know?
You can go on any of the, hold on. You can go on any of the school systems and look up an individual. That gives you their salary and, you know, I think it's yearly or salary or something.
Do we want to do this?
It's pretty much, you know, it's just transparency.
So is the Ohio open checkbook, is it more of a macro level where it shows like administrative wages, or do we want it at the micro level where it's each person? I don't know the answer.
I don't know either, so. It's part of the, taxpayer money that we spend, and that's, should be transparent.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. I don't see a reason why we shouldn't put wages in. So we'll take a look at it, see how the formatting should be, but that's not, there's nothing hide there, so there's no reason we can't put it in there.
Yeah, happy to look into it, figure it out, report back to you guys and we'll move forward however you want.
Sure.
would you wait it on 10%?
I'm not sure how to answer that, though. We need to look at it first and see exactly how that formatting works, but potentially.
I'm saying by position as opposed to by naming employees.
We need to look at it first. No, we know the details. We'll look into it, but I mean, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be in there. And it's some capacity.
Ben, when you look at that, do you mind just checking and seeing what, the other transit authorities are in the state are doing? I just want to,
I can do that, we're the only one. Cincinnati Metro used it for 2 years, about 5 years ago, but we're the only transit system in Ohio that currently uses it.
I would understand doing it by position in some detail, but not by listing employee names.
Well, let's look at it. I mean, if it's a copy of checks, then it would by default have an employee's name on the check. So let's look into it. I mean, there's gotta be some way that you put in there, you know.
It will be interesting to see if it's consistent from, say, a school district to a transit system, or to, you know, within the transit system, how they're doing it, or if there's any leeway.
Yeah, we'll look into it and we'll come back next month and at least tell you what it looks like and see how long it takes to get it set up, but we'll take a deep dive.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other old business in the room? Seeing none, is there any new business in the room? At this time, is there a motion to adjourn today's board of trustee meeting? Motion made by Ms. McNamee, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Stanger. Trudy, if you could please call the roll.
McNamee,
Yes.
Ochada,
Yeah.
Piedmont,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yeah.
Stanger.
Yes.
Zibble.
Yes.
Dr. Lager.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned at 6:07.